And I got my earbuds in, so no copyright stuff should be coming through my mic.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Also to cheer Raiden up, I posted an Overlord picture.
Hooray for the Overlord.
Right, we're live, folks. Thank you for being somewhat patient with us this week. And as I mentioned in the chat about 20 to 30 minutes ago, not too many people were aware that the UK went through daylight savings, so it's kind of been one of those weird weeks. And as some of you will probably notice, we have a new live stream background. I thought it was time to update it, make it, a little bit more, I don't want to say sparkly, because then I'll get reminders of Random doing in his Gmail Pacifica, look sparkly for me, Tuba. It's just like, stop that. Please don't.
Oh, no.
Tuba! Nom 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 nom.
Even Co92 has said, hey, nice background there. Yep, Canva.com, pretty much where I go to get all of my thumbnails and what have you done now. I happen to see that background, and particularly with the text, like, like how you get like live talk shows where it's got like that neon glow effect in the background.
Yeah.
I thought that would be the right way to go. And of course, we have the main supporting hosts of Sunday Night Live, because it might be my show, but these four are the ones that give it the heart.
Yep.
Kaiju being the suave sensibility, Lids for being the badass I don't give a how it is, Raiden because he is Zen, he is awesome, he is our master of the art of dishing our tales. Master, we obey to your wisdom. And we have Win because, well, Win's our Lena. She's sweet, but pushed the wrong button with her Dragon Slave. Gone.
Then she'll send
no.
Overlord Navi upon you.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and to avoid any potential murder charges, I'll just stick Navi on you and he'll just scratch the holy hell out of you.
Mm-hmm. That is a beautiful background.
Thank you.
Oh, hold on, that's my sister calling me.
Okay.
Oh.
I don't know how Raiden's gonna react to this first article.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Give me a sec.
Huh?
Kanye West says Star Wars prequels are better than the sequel trilogy. Is it weird that
Oh, my
Okay.
Is it weird that I find myself agreeing with him?
half
To
and half.
some degree, yes.
Kanye West is a massive supporter of the Star Wars prequel trilogy. The musician took a stand on a recent episode of the Joe Rogan podcast, claiming the sequels were far superior to the sequel trilogy, after watching Revenge of the Sith nearly a dozen times in quarantine.
Blimey.
As West says, the prequels reign supreme because they came to fruition directly from the mind of George Lucas, as opposed to the sequels that he slams as products of the massive corporate machine. Yeah, I will have to agree there. And this is about to make me mad right here, said on the podcast. The first time you've seen me get mad made in an interview, they said George Lucas's prequels were worse than the corporate-made Disney Star Wars, like Revenge of the Sith. We saw how Darth Vader was made, like I watched that 10 times during COVID. Don't jump, Anakin, I've got the high ground. The rapper adds, I'm saying the prequels are better than anything, and I'm sorry, Disney Star Wars design team, no man. This is George, this is his baby. That thing was set in his heart to show us as children, to show us the hero's journey. Naturally, the debate is one that will forever be a point of contention among fans of the beloved sci-fi franchise. Fortunately for West, it would appear most of the fandom disagrees with him. What?
According to whose merit?
Exactly. judging by the metrics set by Rotten Tomatoes, oh, I see where this is going already. 2 of the sequel trilogy flicks have far superior audience scores than the entirety of the prequel trilogy. Those include The Force Awakens, The Rise of Skywalker, the middle movie, and The Last Jedi is the lowest rated feature of the entire franchise in the metric with a paltry 43% audience score. The prequel trilogy movies had the audience score of 66%, Revenge of the Sith 59%, The Phantom Menace 56%. The entire Star Wars franchise is now streaming on Disney.
I got nothing.
Allow me to do my best Raiden impression here. Damn. I got nothing. I'm agreeing with Kanye West. Apparently people on Rotten Tomatoes prefer the sequel trilogy. Raiden, I got nothing. Bring some logic to this.
Alright. Now, if anyone knows me, I'm not the biggest fan of Kanye West when half and half of his music. But yeah. But like you, a part of me agrees. I mean, I did enjoy the prequels over the newer sequels that came out over the years. I mean, it brought in new things that you never thought you'd see in the Star Wars franchise. You know, with the Clone Army, with the beginning of the Bounty Hunters. You know, the beginnings of Anakin Skywalker, the pure badassery of Obi-Wan Kenobi, and just the pure fucks to give to Mace Windu, aka Samuel Jackson. Now, though I haven't seen that, I don't see that much of the newer sequels. What I don't like is the fact that they're devaluing their new characters, especially Finn. You know,
yeah.
I just didn't appreciate what they've done with those characters. Oh, the one character that I feel like that got super disrespected is Captain Phasma.
Yes. You do not bring Gwendolyn Christie and then just freaking throw her in the garbage chute.
And
I
John Boyega,
don't know. It's just.
And John Boyega, boy, does he have some stories to tell.
Oh yeah, I have heard about that. That's scary. But yeah, like I said, as much I'm not of a fan of Kanye West the person and the rapper, sometimes his opinion, half of his opinion, and I mean half, holds weight. Like actually speaking the truth about the real thing. The Star Wars prequels were not terrible as people made it out to be. But yeah, I definitely have to, and that might be the only time I agree with Kanye. The only time. So yeah, that's how I feel about the situation.
So Stephen,
He's not wrong. He's not wrong there. Although the whole thing with the sequel trilogy is that the main problem that it suffers from is that there was no coherent, overarching thing for the trilogy.
Nope.
And I know I've said about this many times in the past. But they tried to force things into a franchise that didn't even need it in the first place.
Nope.
And another person who was highly underutilized in that trilogy, Andy Serkis.
Yes, I will agree.
Agreed. Andy Serkis is my boy.
You get an actor playing a villain who's prominent in The Force Awakens, only to have him killed off 2/3 into The Last Jedi. For what? It barely made any difference to the plot.
Yeah, and to top it off, they made him a clone of Palpatine, a failed clone of Palpatine. I'm like, No! Why?
And you expect to not do anything synonymous with it. Also, sorry if I'm cutting you off, Steven, but yeah, thanks to a couple of YouTubers with a stuntman, I saw a lot of really janky things about one of the fight scenes in, was it Return of the Jedi?
No, Return of the Jedi
Yeah,
was movie 7 from the 80s.
Okay, what was it again? Sorry.
Revenge
No,
of the
movie
Sith?
6.
Yeah, there was Force Awakens, there was The Last Jedi.
Last
Rise
Jedi,
of
thank
Skywalker.
you, thank you.
Yeah,
And the
Yeah,
Rise
Last
of
Jedi,
Skywalker.
where Rey and Kylo were facing off against the bodyguards. Yeah, I found that fight scene to be very janky.
Yeah.
One thing that I love about the prequels, Ian McDiarmid as Palpatine.
Yeah, I will agree with you on that.
Although I just feel as though his appearance in Rise of Skywalker was just trying to win back the fan base, but it was damage control for something that was already too broken.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Here's the thing. The sequels had potential to be good, because Force Awakens was actually okay. I liked it.
Yeah, so did
I didn't hate the other two. I was more disappointed on wasted potential, but I honestly don't blame the movies as a whole for drawing the ire of some of the fans. It suffered from a case of too many cooks in the kitchen.
Exactly.
But the prequels, they were actually fun to watch. I actually loved episode 1, even if some of the content in it is a little dated. Attack of the Clones, I enjoyed the arena fight scene and seeing Yoda wield a lightsaber and kick some ass. And Revenge of the Sith, I actually thoroughly enjoyed. The only thing I could have gone with that was that some of the acting in some of the scenes were a little over the top for what they should have been. But other than that, I enjoyed the final face down between Obi-Wan and Anakin. Plus, Ewan McGregor. You can't go wrong with Ewan McGregor.
Oh no.
Oh god, no.
I loves me some Ewan. He's, even to this day, he's very easy on the eyes.
And
the dude's a legitimately good actor.
and Ewan's Obi appears next to Win. The Force is strong with this one.
Oh, no.
And now, before I finish, I will allow me to quote something in my best Emperor voice. The dark side of pandering is a pathway to many abilities. Some considered to be unnatural.
Definitely good voice, but at the same time, no, go away, Palpatine. Nobody likes you.
Could you imagine Lena?
Everybody likes me.
Could you imagine?
No.
Could you imagine Lena as a Jedi Knight?
Said it.
I can see her being a gray Jedi.
Yeah.
Because gray Jedis are pretty much chaotic neutral.
Although my uniform that I usually wear for Ludosport at the moment, including the mask I makes me look more Sithy. It's a red tunic, and I got a red face mask to go with it, and the haircut just gives me a Sith look. I don't know.
Yeah, I see it. The way fencing masks are built.
Well, it's actually it's just a face mask with the Captain Scarlet logo on it.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Me?
Lids, your 2 cents.
I have when it comes to the Star Wars franchise, for me, the original trilogy was good. I didn't have problems with the prequel trilogy. I don't have much love for Phantom Menace. It was too much talking and not enough action. I'm sorry, it was for me. I didn't like the pod racing, even though it was like kind of fast paced. I'm like, why is this here?
Well, that makes sense. We were both 11 to 12 years old at the time.
Exactly. And Attack of the Clones, it was okay. There were some good parts, and then there was a forced romance between Anakin and Padme. I'm like, we do understand the age difference, right, guys?
No, he's just 9 and she's 14. Yeah, he's probably gonna marry her someday.
Oh God, why? And of course, and for me, the Revenge of the Sith was actually my favorite of the prequel trilogies.
Same.
It was actually decent. It had really decent acting. Some performances. Look, I don't have a problem with Hayden Christensen as much as everybody else does. If he had been directed by someone else, maybe he would have done better in his performance. But
Yeah, because he was actually decent in the movie Jumper.
exactly.
I was about to say.
I don't see why everybody hates him. It's like everybody has like this bored cadence to their voice. I'm like they're acting like they don't want to be there. It just that would have came out to me.
Yeah, it's as I was saying. If you give someone the right direction and a good script to work with in context, then they'll do well. It's like I said with Scarlett Jo. Don't get me wrong, I love her Black Widow, but if you want to see her in something other than what's a perceived typecast archetype, look at her in The Prestige. She's fantastic in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
And the same could be said with Margot Robbie. Don't get me wrong. Unpopular opinion, I liked her Harley Quinn, but if you want to see her do a pretty decent performance, look at The Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh, she was fantastic in The Wolf of Wall Street.
Or I, Tonya.
Yes, there we go. That's
yeah.
That's a better example. But
And while people love to meme the shit out of Christian Bale for the Dark Knight trilogy, I would like to point out, look at 3:10 to Yuma, American Psycho, let's see, Public Enemies, where he plays J. Edgar Hoover.
Oh yeah.
I would highly recommend those films to you, and they're really good. And if you want an animated film into the pitch, Howl's Moving Castle, where he plays the titular character.
Oh yeah.
He also,
And as far as
film.
sorry, go ahead.
he also.
Oh no, I was done.
He also had.
And also, the sequel trilogies, I like The Force Awakens. I actually asked my family to go. We should all go as a family to go see the movie. I liked it fine. Everybody else was a little bored. Then came the problem here, where you replaced J.J. Abrams with a different director, and it's like, and everybody got offended at the way things were portrayed and shit. And then it's like, oh, we'll bring Abrams back. Everything will be fixed. No, he's just fixing what he thinks is broken. That's why you didn't see Rose in that movie for like only a few scenes in Last Jedi. Everything that that was like basically focus grouped out of the movie. I'm sorry. Point is, I don't have a problem with the sequel trilogy. It's just, it feels like the sequel trilogy feels more like it was made by focus groups than actually made by writers. That's just my opinion. But again, I'm actually kind of agreeing with Kanye West, and that kind of sends a shiver down my spine.
Yeah. I was also going to say Christian Bale also played a small role as a voiceover in Pocahontas.
Oh, that's right.
Yes, he was.
Yeah. I almost forgot.
Yeah,
And he also was in The Prestige as one of the main characters with he was foil to Hugh Jackman.
All right. Yeah.
he also was in Ring of Fire. We don't talk about that one.
Oh yeah.
No.
I heard about that. I heard about that piece of shit.
Wanted to see it, but I was told to avoid it like the plague.
Yeah, you'll do well to avoid that train wreck. All right, we'll move on to another topic.
Mhm.
This concerns one Mick Foley.
Oh,
Oh?
okay.
Okay.
Foley says he's still paying for injuries from his Hell in a Cell match with The Undertaker.
Oh
Ooh.
dear, sweet
Ouch.
mother Lord Jesus.
Damn. Dental,
How long
dental,
was that?
Yeah.
22 years ago.
King of the Ring,
Yes.
1990. King of the Ring, 1998.
Mm-hmm. The Hell in a Cell
Yikes.
match between Mick Foley and The Undertaker from the 1998 King of the Ring pay-per-view still stands as one of the most iconic wrestling matches in history. Foley was infamously tossed off the roof of the cell through an announcer's table and got back up, continued to brawl with the dead man, and wound up getting chokeslammed through the cell's roof down to the ring below.
God damn it. Hold on.
The hardcore legend has talked about many times in the years since, but in a new interview with Metro, he revealed something new about the match. He's still paying for the bills for the damage it caused to his body. That bump through the cell roof down to the ring knocked one of Mick Foley's teeth up through his gums and into his nose.
Yup.
Oh, God.
Things did not work out like I'd hoped. The cell collapsing when I was chokeslammed still has fallout for me. I just paid $425 to remove my bottom flipper, which are false teeth which were knocked out in that cell, and I have to pay $15,000 for those or to get those teeth fixed. Earlier this year, Undertaker was featured in the documentary series Undertaker: The Last Ride, in which he struggled multiple times with accepting retirement. Foley sat down with Comic Book during that time and explained why so many wrestlers struggle with hanging up their boots. I think it's because success is subjective in our business. It's not like you can gauge it based on batting average. In baseball, if a guy can't get round on a fastball, his career is done. Whereas in sports entertainment, you are often at your peak years after your physical peak ends, in that you understand more about crowd psychology, you connect more with the fans, and you find ways to have better matches even though your physical prime years are over. I think there's a fine line between self-confidence and delusion. I think some of us, myself included, when we got older, tiptoe over that line and still believe we have that one match left in us.
Alright, I return again.
All I got to say is, damn. The fact that poor Mick is still bearing the scars, mentally, physically, and financially, because of that match 22 years ago. Not to sound like a pessimist, I think this is going to be something that's probably going to haunt him and, well, until you know when.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like the article says, arguably one of the greatest moments in professional wrestling history, especially hearing that legendary quote by JR, "By God, as God is my witness, he is broken in half."
Oh my God! Oh God! That killed him! That killed him! That killed him!
I mean, even Undertaker still, struggling to be in characters like, oh shit, what did I do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also, you also remember Taker was working with a broken foot.
I did not know that.
Owie.
Yeah.
Oh.
And here's the thing. The roof of the cell, that wasn't supposed to give way.
No.
Oh.
Oh God, no.
No.
And thing is, when Mick came running back down to the ring, he says, watching highlights of the match years later, he says, I don't even remember doing that. But then again, you've fallen 20 feet from the roof of the cell onto the ring canvas, which there's not a lot of give to it. Safe to say, you're not going to have a few good nights sleeping in the bed or a hospital bed or any bed of that nature. And then, of course, later in that night, you see both Mick and Undertaker getting involved in Kane and Austin's first blood match for the then World Wrestling Federation Championship, which, due to Taker getting involved, actually cost Austin the match. And if you watch the highlight of Austin's video, Hell Yeah, you can actually lip read him saying, "That's effing bullshit."
Oh shit.
So, I mean, don't get me wrong, Hell in a Cell was a career-defining match for Mick, but I think he would prefer medically for it not to have gone that way. I could ramble on, and I'm trying not to. Raiden, thoughts on this?
Yeah, this is definitely brand new to me. Yeah, I definitely remember the severity of that match. Whenever I think Hell in a Cell, I definitely think of Foley Taker from Kingdom Ring '98. Just the fact alone, going through the cell, falling on top of the cell, and that iconic or infamous moment of Mick smiling with one of his teeth in his nostril.
And his mouth completely bloodied.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's one of those moments that stays with you forever as a wrestling fan. So yeah, it sucks to hear they still paying for those, but you know, sometimes it's always the iconic moment that you can always pay for, you know. But you know, no matter what, how you feel about what WWE is nowadays, you gotta applaud them for turning something that was accidental into wrestling history. You know.
Yeah.
And it is very interesting we're talking about this since and I'm just gonna say it. Heck in a Cell is gonna be on soon.
Mm-hmm.
Now we see them with a fucking red cell, like what?
I don't get it. I don't want to get it.
Yeah. But yeah, like I mentioned, sucks that Foley still has to pay for those injuries, but you know, sometimes.
Okay, I think we're having technical difficulties with Raiden a second.
Discord might be acting up again.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Until we can get Raiden back, Lids, what's your perspective?
I mean, with any sport, there are consequences, but with the wrestling business, there is extreme consequences. That night after night, these men put their bodies through literal hell, and they're expected to make like a small income, and I understand that. Like of course, some people get paid millions of dollars, but nowadays it's like the money's not worth it, and what Mick went through, like the money's wasn't worth it to take all that bullshit. I mean, he's a legend now, but again, much later, it's like, and we don't even know how many years the man has left because of all the damage he's taken. He's going to feel the consequences of that throughout his body. He's literally feeling that now. With like, he just probably is hiding it really well. But again, he's a legend for a reason, and he'll deal with those consequences when they come. They're already there, but probably more so in the near future.
It makes you wonder what's going to happen when the respective injuries of Rob Van Dam and Dean Ambrose catch up with them.
Oh,
Yeah.
Especially Ambrose. Jeez, he would take some bumps in WWE.
Even before that season in CZW, you know, with the barbed wire, with the glass, you know, all that type of shit.
Raiden, do you want to finish up with what you were doing before you unfortunately got discommunicated by Discord there?
Oh yeah. Like I mentioned before, it's always the iconic moments that we all go through. We still pay for it to this day, you know. So that's what Foley's going through. But no matter what, like I said with WWE, say what you will about them now, but you gotta applaud them for turning something that was a full-blown accident into wrestling history. So there you go.
Pretty much. Win?
Man, that's pretty crazy to recall that match. And the fact that Foley's still paying for it kind of sucks. It just goes to show that the collective elephant room has yet to be properly addressed, aka the way these wrestlers are treated. They put their bodies on the line every match to make sure they give their all and give an entertaining show, but the fact that they have these injuries and that they have to pay for them rather than have proper benefits, it's disheartening, really.
It's why years ago Jake Roberts actually joined an actor's agency just so he could be given a health plan.
Yeah, I did hear about that.
Yeah,
I've heard stories like WWE doesn't really pay for, you know, their wrestlers to go to the hospital with their injuries. They just expect them to just be on the show after that. Yeah.
Apparently for WrestleMania 28, I don't know if this is actually legit, so don't quote me on this, but the word on the wire was going around at the time that Linda McMahon told the wrestlers pretty much, go make your own travel arrangements and accommodation, and they're just like, wow.
Shit.
Also, I'm not disrespecting this one podcaster that was seeing how CM Punk's pipe bomb from 2011 still holds up. He was talking about how Punk was talking about how Rock is already in the main event for WrestleMania next year, made him sick. And the guy went to say the match between Rock and Cena at Mania 28 was the best match on the card. I'm like, what fucking pay-per-view were you watching? That match was awful!
Sir, what are you smoking? And can I have some, because that's probably some really good shit.
Here's the thing. The best match in terms of actual athletic quality was Punk versus Jericho.
By far.
Taker, Triple H, I'm sorry, I was not feeling that match.
Me neither.
That match was garbage.
Yeah. I mean, the moments itself was good, but it didn't really... Yeah, and for me, that's when the streak was just getting... Well, I think after Taker vs. HBK2 from WrestleMania 26, I think after that's when the streak didn't just lost all meaning until Taker fought Punk at WrestleMania 29.
Yeah, because Punk carried that match.
Oh yeah, most definitely, because Taker was not the same Taker from years ago.
No.
And the less we said about WrestleMania 30, the better.
We don't like to talk about that match.
Yeah.
No. Alright. Okay. moving away from wrestling a second, because this concerns the Terminator. Arnold Schwarzenegger undergoes heart surgery.
Oh, shit.
Arnold underwent heart surgery this week. The star posted a thank you to the hardworking staff at the Cleveland Clinic. It turns out the Terminator actor needed a new aortic valve and went to the best to handle such a tricky procedure. It's been a strange year for the star after last year's appearance in Terminator Dark Fate. We don't talk about that movie. Then 2020's coronavirus pandemic took hold, and he's been staying inside and staying distanced ever since. Something a lot of other people around the world should do. Oh, I'm sorry, did I say that out loud?
No, we're all thinking.
Hey, nothing wrong with spilling the tea.
The former California governor actually recorded a few videos encouraging the people of that to adhere to COVID-19 protocols. The Terminator has told you to social distance. You will comply. He shot those videos in his home, and the clips might have caused as much stir of the numerous animals that the family keeps as pets on their property. Luckily, he's on the mend and can probably make the trek home soon. Thanks to the team at the Cleveland Clinic, I have a new aortic valve to go along with my new pulmonary valve from my last heart surgery. I feel fantastic and already have been walking the streets of Cleveland and enjoying our amazing statues. Thank you to every doc and nurse on my team. There is no question that Schwarzenegger is showing his age a little bit more these days. In Dark Fate, many fans wondered how his Terminator was looking older in the film despite being a machine. James Cameron told the press that it's been 35 years and you could tell everything about how the machines aged from the first movie. Look, it's all in the first film. Said in a video chat while on the set of the Avatar sequels. Like, well, if we ever get to see those anytime soon.
The real never-ending
2030.
story.
Anyway.
2030. I'm calling it 2030.
Sweat, bad breath, everything. He's a cyborg. The org part is organic. There's flesh over the outside. He's organic on the outside. He's got to eat to support the organic part of the body. It might only be 30% of him by weight, but he definitely has human flesh. The science behind that is complete bullshit, but it's a cool idea, right? In the first movie, he's actually got sort of gangrene and his wounds are kind of rotting by the end of the film. Yeah, because that's the sort of thing that you do see with the prosthetic props from Stan Winston, because it's just to show the degeneration of the human tissue because of all the injuries it's taking. When the guy pounds on the door and says, "Hey buddy, you got a dead cat in there?" It's like he's rotting. His human's flesh is dying before it all gets burned off. All biological systems are subject to age unless you were to specifically genetically tinker that out. Why am I having this really odd image now of a crossover between Terminator and Jurassic Park?
Oh my god.
Which obviously they didn't do, so his outer form ages. The flesh will die and fall off eventually, and then he'll just be the endoskeleton walking around a little harder to blend into that point. Oh my goodness, I'm just in my endoskeleton. I'm naked. Have you watched any of the Terminators over the summer and into the fall? Let us know down in the comments. Well, obviously because of what I've been doing for Terminator and what have you. I have been catching up with the old movies. 1 and 2, awesome. Genesis, it's okay. Sarah Connor Chronicles, Terminator 3. I need to be high on caffeine before I could do that. Dark Fate. Oh, excuse me. I can't sleep. Watch Terminator Salvation. Oh, I can sleep now. Thank you. Up next, Terminator Dark Fate. No. Off. I said I want to be able to go to sleep, not have nightmares. Besides, if I really want to go be put to sleep that bad, I'll watch a 30-minute promo of Triple H from 2013.
God. That's face worse than death, bro. Whoa, wait. No. More worse is hearing Stephanie sing. I know that shit. I know that feeling.
Up next on America's Got Talent, Stephanie McMahon. Everybody leaves the arena. Gone.
Run, goddammit, run!
We need
Yeah, motherfucking yeet!
We need international rescue for that. Excuse me, Mr. Knight. What's the actual emergency? We're someone on America's Got Talent's coming on. We can't do it. It's Stephanie McMahon. Hang on, we'll be right there with Thunderbird 2.
FAB.
Nah. On a serious note, glad Arnold's doing better. He needs to cut out those Cuban cigars, though, dude. Seriously. You've already had at least 2 triple heart bypass operations in your life. One of which was before your return for End of Days, which... How to be constructive about that. As a return movie, it's actually decent. Delivers what it promises. Is it one of his best movies?
No.
It's good as a loner. I'll say that much for it, because the cast give a decent performance. But it's not going to be as great as the stuff that he did with things like Terminator 2 or the stuff he did with Kindergarten Cop and Twins. If I had to rate it, it's just like, it's probably just on level with Terminator 3, and that's me being nice. Long story short, glad the Terminator's doing better. Hope we'll see him back on screen again soon. But I will say though, I don't think we'll ever see him in another Terminator movie, because if Gail Ann Hurd gets things her way, she will win back the rights of the Terminator franchise and just leave it on a shelf. Because it's sad for me to admit, but I think Terminator's had its day. Win. Thoughts?
That's actually a good thing that his heart surgery was a success. I wish him a speedy recovery. And double kudos for doing all the right things during this time of crazy. Hold on.
Gesundheit.
Ow, I bit my tongue.
Ouch.
Oh, no.
Okay, as I was saying, kudos to him to doing all the right things. And I did get a hilarious mental image when you were saying that, because as it made me think of the line in Terminator, "Boff you a-hole." Except instead of that, it's he fires off a mask gun going, "Boff you, Karen." It was funny in my head. But kudos to that. Glad that his surgery was a success. I wish him a speedy recovery. And it definitely brings a lot of fond memories of his movies and such. And if the rights are bought back for Terminator, it's probably for the best. I would love to see the franchise make a good and solid recovery, but you know what? Best to lay it to rest so it doesn't get any worse than it might have become.
All I'll say is Tim Miller does fine with the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, but keep him the hell away from another Terminator movie.
That...
Go on.
Oh. No, continue. I can wait.
Because what he did to Dark Fate, especially in the opening credits with what happened to John Connor, it's just like, you know, I can understand if Sarah Connor was killed off on screen to be like a motivator for John Connor, even more so, but you get rid of John Connor, you've effectively killed the Terminator franchise. It's like, that'd be like, it'd be like having a Thunderbirds movie, but none of the Tracys are in it. None of the Rockets are there, and it's just like, well, that's not Thunderbirds. That's something else.
Nope. Yep.
That'd be like having an Iron Man movie without Iron Man in it. Oh wait, Iron Man 3. Never mind.
Yeah. You ever come between me and my Virgil Tracy, and we're gonna have words. Also, we don't talk about that movie.
Also, don't let female Thunderbirds nerds hear you say that. She's kind of got a thing for Virgil.
Yeah.
I stand for Virgil.
Well, he was apparently the hottest out of the Tracy brothers, according to an internet poll several years ago. But I digress.
Huh, Navi. Is Virgil best boy?
Mao, are you going to feed me?
I just gave you gushies before I went on the air.
Mao, I require gushies via tap.
He would.
Lids.
She is not with us at the time, being technical difficulties.
Yeah.
Her power went out.
Oh
no.
Oh, poo.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, I just told her to try to join back in when she can, because I've been there, so oof. In the meantime,
Raiden?
guess we'll have to think who to go to next. Oof, gotta hurt.
Raiden, your thoughts?
Was that Raiden?
No, I think... Ah, there he is. Raiden, your thoughts on Schwarzenegger's heart surgery being a success?
Glad to hear it. You know, to have more, you know, Schwarzeneggers aside from Terminator stuff. Happens again because I heard Dark Fate. Yikes.
Yes.
But yeah, glad he's doing great. Glad he's been exceeding doing protocol the right way instead of just being using celebrity status to be an asshole. But yeah, glad things are well for him, and yeah, that's all it is. I'm just happy he's doing well.
So, Stephen.
Great to see that Arnold's on the mend, and I'm really glad that he's actually taking time to keep reminding the public just to follow the rules.
Yeah, because seriously, folks, that ain't cool to keep flouting the rules like that.
It's just common sense. It's not oppression, it's common sense. Please, I want to go back to work.
Please stop being stupid.
We're asking for Okay, you're asking for practicalities, not a miracle.
Yeah, to quote the ever awesome Philip DeFranco, don't be stupid, stupid!
Okay. Time for something to lighten the mood. Creed 3 has Michael B. Jordan in talks to direct and star.
Ooh.
Creed 3 is in development, and it looks like Michael could end up making his directorial debut with the third installment.
Ooh. Yes, please.
Jordan is in talks to direct Creed 3. The third installment is set to work off the success of the first two installments, which grossed $173 million and $214 million, respectively. Jordan has confirmed numerous times that he will be returning for the third movie, though a timeline is yet to be revealed. In February, it was announced that Zach Baylin had been brought on to write the screenplay. Ryan Coogler directed 2015's Creed, while Stephen Capel Jr. took over on Creed 2. Now it looks like Michael B. Jordan could end up making his directorial debut with Creed 3. The news comes from a new report about MGN and their future plans, specifically as they pertain to the long-awaited James Bond movie No Time to Die, more like what time it will arrive. The report also states the studio is working on a Creed sequel that Michael B. Jordan is considering to direct. Jordan starred in the previous 2 Creed installments and was actually offered a shot at directing Creed 3 in 2018. Longtime Rocky franchise producer Irwin Winkler spoke about the offer in his book Life in Movies, Stories from 50 Years in Hollywood. It reads, "I promised Michael that he'd get his chance to direct Creed 3. In 2018, in a conversation with Michael, I offered him the opportunity to not only star in, but also to direct Creed 3. So there is already a precedent set for Jordan taking over the directorial debuts, but will he do it? Michael has said in the past he has been studying for the entirety of his acting career to get behind the camera. I've been learning since I was like 12 years old. Seeing what everybody does, all the departments, from the wardrobe stuff to the sound, I've always cared about what everyone needed. It's kind of like a perfect perspective to be able to help run a set. I just love to collaborate and empower people to do what they do best. It certainly sounds like the actor is ready to make the transition at this point in time." When discussing his passion for directing, Jordan said, "I've always wanted respect from my peers, to be somebody that will be respected forever, who has an amazing body of work, who affected these kids and these people." He went on to say that he wants his success measured by those whom he was able to help along the way. "My greatness I want measured by the people that I put on. Like Actor X 10 years from now, he has a career that has far exceeded mine. And ask him, who looked out? And he'll say me. Creed 3 may very well be Jordan's chance to achieve his goals. Deadline was the first to announce that Michael B. Jordan is in talks to direct Creed 3. I say I hope he gets his chance.
Hell yeah.
Because he's a heck of an actor. Heck of a extraordinary person to boot as well. And that's it. I hope he gets his chance. I want to see this happen. And I'm intrigued to see what Raiden has to say.
I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I thought first Creed was amazing. The second one was good, but it wasn't really that promising. Honestly, I wish we would get more backstory on Victor Drago and Ivan after, the events of Rocky IV. We got a little bit of it, but not that much. So I don't know. Hopefully, and I really mean hopefully, with Creed 3, I don't know what they're gonna do with it, but I hope it does more. I'm just hoping it does more story building instead of just saying action, 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 which is what I thought was the second movie was about. So I praise Michael B. Jordan for getting this opportunity. So hopefully things go well. I can't wait.
Sir Stephen.
Well, it's interesting to see that they're continuing the franchise. Not really too familiar with the Creed movies, but I am glad that Michael Jordan's actually getting work. And we'll be interested to see what comes up in the pipeline.
All right. Owen.
I'm pretty intrigued. I never really got to see the films for myself, but I've heard nothing but mostly positive things about Creed and Creed 2, and I've seen Michael B. Jordan act, so it definitely makes me pretty excited to see how he directs movies. I hope he gets his chance, and I hope his movie does well. I wish him nothing but success.
Alrighty.
As does Navi.
Mao. I was hoping Lids would be back by now, but from what I understand, with the blackouts, she could be. We could be waiting. For a while. But that said, I'll put this to the audience of the Co92, Sean Retro, Dan, and Ms. Gwyn. Might I say, pardon me for not saying hello much sooner this evening. Who wants to see the preview for this fortnight's review and what will be concluding this year's installment of Hulktober?
I'm down.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Let me skip it.
At 0.
Alright, let me just get there first.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I'm at 0-2.
Alright, let me just go.
Hold on.
Yeah, sure. Let me just see.
Okay, I'm ready.
Yep, the audience is saying sure, why not? Okay. Going to. Hang on. Right, in 3, 2, 1, play. Let's see. What do we make of TV reunion movies? They can provide some necessary context to what your heroes have been doing since the show went off the air, and other times they leave a bitter taste in your mouth. If you look at such reunion movies like 1991's Knight Rider 2000, where the popularity of the show was still strong overseas, and it was enjoying reruns through syndication that Hasselhoff thought that it could benefit from being revived. The problem is that the reunion, despite being a ratings winner, left the audience and fans mixed in the direction that they had handled it, from doing the cliche setting the story in the year 2000, cryo prisons of which got used in Demolition Man 5 years later, and to having Kit dismantled to where he's installed into Michael's 1965 Chevy Bel Air, and then later a 1991 Dodge Stealth disguised as a 1983 Pontiac Banshee, with a depleted list of functions, of which not even Turbo Boost was used. And we come to the subject of this fortnight's review. 1988 TV reunion of The Incredible Hulk returns, with Bill Bixby, Lou Ferrigno, and Jack Colvin to pick up from when the show left off in 1982, after being cancelled after its 4th season. Does this reunion movie still hold up? Well, you know how this works by now. Let's get mad. The first minutes of this TV movie really paints the picture of what Banner has endured in the 9 years since he first became the Hulk. He has restless nights where he struggles to maintain control, and he keeps his distance even with a blossoming relationship with widowed Dr. Margaret Shaw. But that's not to say it's all doom and gloom, especially when he's greeting her for coffee.
Good morning!
Dr. Banner's coffee. Guaranteed not to make you go green. The theme of keeping a low profile for the TV series is maintained, that even at the press conference of the Gamma Transponder, he's keeping away from being named as the man responsible for the creation of the machine, insisting that it's a team effort. when really it's a facade to lay low so that he's not cited by the press, and more importantly, one Jack McGee that hounded him throughout the TV series. Considering that it had been 2 years since his last incident by this point, he wasn't about to break his streak anytime soon, provided he could avoid it. And if he had it his way, he would have been cured and accepting Dr. Shaw's sinful proposal. There are themes of control and sacrifice. Shaw talks about losing control after losing her deceased husband, saying it was necessary for her to have some peace, whereas David doesn't have that luxury. Well, for him, losing control involves a new wardrobe, people asking questions, and then him having to skip town. Something he got tired of. In a very apropos way, the Hulk is a metaphor of what happens to most people when their patience has been exceeded and they just lash out, getting rid of that frustration. You do feel for David. In the 4 seasons of the TV series, he had been looking for a cure ever since he exposed himself to a high level of gamma rays, hoping to tap into the hidden strength that all humans have. But that said, if Banner cured himself, you wouldn't have much of a continuation. One attention I'd like to point out as a flaw in the writing is that Banner wasn't irate that Blake interrupted his experiment to cure his affliction and send his gamma rays into remission. Look, personally, if that were me, I'd be Language. Cap, I think I'm allowed. I don't want to wreck my wardrobe. Some of the best moments, which are more lighthearted and comedic, come from Thor and Donald. They really allow the viewer to have a relief from the brooding and serious aspect of what was going on with Banner's quest for a cure, and to see the two hit the town and go
I love how
party
you
hard
slipped
in
that
a
in.
bar
Language.
where Thor essentially drinks everyone under the table without losing the ability for rational thought. They go through their own respective evolutions in this movie as Donald learns to take action and not rely completely on Thor, whereas Thor learns to appreciate every moment he has out of the hammer just to have some fun, whilst appreciating Donald's help. The heart of this still comes down to the tough choices that Banner has to make. Does he go through the chance of having a cure to obtain happiness, or does he make the choice
This drink
he doesn't
pleases
want
me.
to make and
Smash
give
his
up
cup.
chance for peace
Bring me another.
for the sake of everyone's safety? The theme of sacrifice. This is what has made this incarnation of Banner so endearing and interesting. Even when he has salvation at his fingertips to where he could practically taste it, he makes the hard choice and then moves on just so that he can protect those he cares about at the cost of his happiness. You know, what is there to say that you didn't already know? The late Bill Bixby was Dr. Banner. He really embodied the sober and lonely sensibilities of what made the character of Banner so endearing. He would purposely keep his distance from people that he could potentially care about, and to just laying low so that he could stay out of trouble, and by extension, keeping his green, muscular alter ego locked away. I think, like his co-star Lou Ferrigno, it's also the non-verbal acting that Bill would give when you can see the sacrifice he was making when zapping the circuit chip in the microwave, knowing that he was destroying his chance for a cure on this occasion. He was a great actor, and he's sorely missed. Lou stepped back into his iconic role like he never left. He conveys the intimidating presence whenever Banner would hulk out with the menacing eyes and exposed teeth, and then he has these looks of intrigue and sensitivity whenever he's in the presence of Lee Purcell. Colvin reprises his role as the smarmy and intrepid reporter Jack McGee. He pretty much picks up from where he left off from the series, constantly on Banner's trail, trying to pin Banner and the Hulk as one and the same, of which Banner purposely avoids him when he catches a glimpse of him. This movie would mark his last appearance as Jack McGee. Levitt plays Donald Blake, a former student of Banner's from his university days, and causes a lot of problems for the Doctor, in which he lets Thor out of the hammer and unwittingly unleashes the Hulk when Thor attacks him, not understanding what he was doing when trying to calm down. He has a great rapport with Eric Kramer's Thor, acting like the straight man to Kramer's comic. Kramer would have the goofy fun of knocking back beers like they were going for half price, while Levitt is trying to be the voice of reason. Kramer understood his role as Thor and just played to his strengths as a dramatic machismo and charismatic ham. Every scene he's in, you can see that he's having unapologetic fun. And for some reason, he looks like what would happen if Triple H fused with John Cena. And for the heels, it was one push, and they were over. And I could also see similar mannerisms with his charisma to that of Chris Hemsworth, who portrayed the character 22 years later. Purcell plays a small yet important role. She represents the forbidden fruit that Banner can never have, which is a normal life and love. The visual effects with Thor's hammer are not anything noteworthy, and considering that this was the late 80s on a TV reunion movie, you would be hard-pressed to find anything remotely as such. The grease paint with the powder for the Hulk's skin still looks convincing to this day. It doesn't really matter how long it's been since you saw the series, but people would always get excited whenever a Hulk out would take place. Children, adults would smile and cheer whenever Banner would turn into the Hulk, with the eyes changing colour to seeing the muscles burst out of the shirt. When you look back at it now, it looks silly and goofy, but in a good way. I will admit though that the slow-mo effect whenever Hulk would jump or launch enemies across the screen really hasn't aged too well. I appreciate you have to do these for dramatic effect, but it's an aspect of the TV series that has aged poorly. I will say, though, it still makes me laugh when you see the Hulk appear from behind the faux security guard, and you know the hilarity that will ensue for this rather unlucky schmuck.
I know what's coming.
The score is admittedly very 80s in places to where it almost takes you out of the moment. One that comes to mind is where David is setting up the transponder to cure himself, and the music comes across as tinny and irritating. Sure is doing its job of building the suspense with the countdown, and one piece I couldn't help but notice is that it was using similar piano keys from the series theme, to which I thought was a nice touch. Like with the TV series, the score informs you when an action scene is about to take place, or a Hulk out. And true to the continuation of the TV series, the Lonely Man plays at the very end, with David attempting to hitch a ride on the highway. The same piece that accompanied every episode of the series, showing Banner's rewards for his efforts in saving the day, was Loneliness. It's such a moving score that really paints the picture of the titular character. Loneliness for his efforts. Aside from the Lonely Man theme and some select pieces, the score has aged badly. The movie was a rating success for New World Television, who were Marvel's owners at the time. It would spawn 2 sequels over the next 2 years in 1989's The Trial of the Incredible Hulk and 1990's The Death of the Incredible Hulk. The latter was not intended to be the end, as there was a follow-up planned with The Revenge of the Incredible Hulk, but this was scrapped when Bill Bixby sadly slipped into a coma and passed away from cancer. There wouldn't be a Hulk movie of any kind until 13 years later, with Eric Bana taking up the role of Dr. Banner in 2003.
You know you want to say it, Raiden.
There was a sequel talked about, but it never came to happen, as the franchise was rebooted as part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, with 2008's The Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton in the role of Dr. Banner, whom a lot of people cite was very similar to Bill Bixby, with mannerisms and acting sensibilities in how he would approach the character and the story. Anchor Bay Films released The Incredible Hulk Returns as a double feature with The Trial of the Incredible Hulk in early summer 2008 in order to hype up the release of 2008's The Incredible Hulk. The movie has been enjoyed on TV, VHS, and DVD since 1988. I'm MJ Knight, and we witnessed The Incredible Hulk Returns. Cat, I think I'm allowed. I don't want to wreck my wardrobe. There's too many nice movie t-shirts there. Don't judge me. I'm gonna have that as a blooper. And for the heels, it was one push, and they were over. I'm
going to be cutting a promo. Raiden, I am going to be getting back into the ring, and I will be cutting a 50-minute promo, and I will go to Lydia's house, and be the one to conduct her and Oni's wedding. Oni be like, I will go to Kaijun's house, and do commentary on one of his movie reviews. Kaiju pops up. Bleep. And for Win, Win just pops up. Don't even think about it. It's like, you're not burying my fun. Yeah, but doesn't Triple H bury enough of people's fun just by cutting any promo today? Tip your waitress, I'll be here all week. And for the heels... Heels? So we have the faces and the heels. The hills are alive with the sound of Triple H's promo.
Oh, you didn't.
I have this really, really awkward image now of Stephanie McMahon in Julie Andrews' role of the sound of music, and Liz just goes like, just head desking. No, don't want to be reminded of wind and winds beneath our ring. No. Bloopers are going to be entertaining for this one. I'm going to do this as like a sort of a script blooper. Hulk presents Hulk News. Tonight's news, Hulk smashed, Hulk bashed, and Hulk went over to Oni's house to share disgust of fake Hulk, one who'd been in WWE. He is not Hulk. I am Hulk. Now I just have this weird image of a rapport between Oni and Hulk. Hulk understands you hate fake Hulk. That is true. He parades around thinking he's the greatest of all time, and he's not. He is not Stone Cold Steve Austin. Apparently even imitating Oni's voice hurts. Excuse me. Hulk does not know of this Stone Cold. What does he do? Snatches things up and drinks beer. Hulk is intrigued. Now I have this image of Austin, Oni, and Hulk all drinking beer. So, we have Steve Weisers, now Hulk Weisers. Why not?
Oh dear.
Love it. Gamma Kaiju. That's a nightmare.
that.
Thank you.
It was a very good review.
Really good.
Alright, what did the audience think? Oh, the audience hasn't said anything. Oh, Kunaitu says pretty good there. Only reason I went over to that one is because, well, I wasn't gonna do the cliche thing and classify Ragnarok, because apparently some YouTube movie reviewing YouTube channels are classifying Thor Ragnarok and Avengers Infinity War as Hulk movies. I'm like, no. The Hulk may be in those movies, but it's not his movie. But they're not his movies. That'd be like, you know, Revenge of Cyber-Raiden 6, and it's a movie starring the Kardashians. Be like, no, the hell they didn't. You know, doesn't work that way. Or one that Steven could probably understand. It'd be like having, say, like Star Wars Episode 10, yet the Fantastic Four show up. You're like, wait, what? Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't gonna do the Hulk animated movies because I feel like those can be saved for a later date. And originally I was going to do the death of the Incredible Hulk because this year's the 30th anniversary, but I didn't really want to do what Nostalgia Critic's been doing, where he'll review movies in a series out of chronological order, and I know I've already kind of done that with the Batman Anthology movie series and to some extent Jurassic Park as well, but I thought if we're gonna cover Hulk movie, you may as well go through some of the TV movies there. And has to be said, the Bill Bixby performances very underrated, because as good as people praise Mark Ruffalo, they already had the best live action Dr. Banner. Just the unfortunate thing is that Bixby's no longer with us. And he was a really, really good actor. It's in a very similar way, because a lot of people will comment on the sort of non-verbal acting that Benicio del Toro has done over his career, and I find that with Bill Bixby, it's when you can sort of see these moments where he's trying to work things out, or you can sort of see the emotion that's going through his mind at the time. It's just the acting with his eyes that, you know, he could be like trying to say 1,000 things, and his face just says so much, great acting. But it's like I've said in there, the special effects have not aged well. And there's one scene I just find a bit cringy. In the latter part of that movie is where the token bad guys of that movie are trying to steal the transponder. Banner hulks out, but they manage to do him with a tranquilizer dart, and it's just seeing Lou all in his Hulk get up, and he's struggling to get on his feet, and it's one of those, it's an ultimate cringe fest, even when you see him and Eric Kramer hanging from this helicopter, especially in the not even cosplay quality of it, of a Thor. How can I put this? It looks like something an out of touch father thinking this is how Thor would actually dress. He looks like a dad Avenger.
Oh boy.
Yeah, a lot of people have really got nothing good to say about that game that came out recently, especially the physics.
Which is a damn shame, because Square Enix makes more good games than they do bad.
Oh, speaking of Square Enix, I saw your brother's review of the Avengers game that Square Enix did. Damn, he went to town on that game.
Yeah, like I said, it's a damn shame. They were probably rushed by Marvel themselves, the way Capcom got thrown under the bus during Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite.
Yeah, I heard about that via Wahapan, aka Muscles and Maximilian, dude.
Yeah, because, like I said, Square's known for being perfectionists and making more good games than bad. The Final Fantasy franchise is solid. Kingdom Hearts 3, from the little I've seen, is chef's kiss. Even their lesser-known games like Sleeping Dogs got some pretty good marks. So in this case, it was more probably being hounded by Marvel. And what I was going to say with Tim Pool from our last subject, he probably wanted to make a really good movie, but studio interference does tend to be a hell of a thing.
Oh, yes.
Be it video game, TV, movie, any form of entertainment. If a higher-up studio pushes you, it could make or break its current project.
Yep.
Yeah, even Konak 2 is saying, I'm currently playing the Avengers game. It's so far below average. Damn.
And if Marvel's pushing them, I wouldn't be surprised if the poor developers had to undergo a heavy-duty crunch.
Damn.
Yeah.
And you know how crunch can affect a game dev.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He goes on to say, so Marvel pressured them into rushing the game. Makes sense. Well, it's in a similar vein to how Microsoft pressured Sega into getting Sonic 360 out for holidays in 2006.
Yeah.
Yeah. We all know how that turned out.
Although, the word on the wire that's going around, from what some people have been telling me, is they're taking a Crash Bandicoot remake approach. So apparently, and again, this is what information I've been given from friends.
Welcome back, Lids. Uh-oh.
Oh.
We can't hear you.
Oh,
Microphone.
There we go.
there we yeah. There was a blackout. Ugh.
Damn.
Oh,
That is it.
Yeah, I relate to them technical difficulties.
Yeah, but fortunately the power came back on, so it's all good. Oh, what I missed.
You missed a preview of this fortnight's review.
Oh, nuts.
Well, to be fair, we didn't really know when you were going to come back on, so
No, it's okay.
we'll show it to you after we go off the air.
Okay.
You were saying, MJ?
Yeah, from what I've been hearing from not only my brother but a few other people, apparently the word is we're gonna get full-on remakes of Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, and apparently don't hold me to this, I don't know this for fact, but 3 simple words, and it's gonna put a huge smile potentially on Wynn's face. SA3. Yeah.
Yay! That I am totes excited because those games were good. And the fact that they're doing remakes the way Spyro, Crash, and Medieval got them, then I am fully optimistic because so far, all of the remasters / remakes have been really good. I loved the Crash trilogy. To my understanding, the new Crash game is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I love I love Spyro Reignited. And in this case, while I haven't bought it yet, I've been watching a playthrough of the Medieval remake, and I kind of want to get it because I loved the PSP port, so I would not mind playing it again remastered. And the shenanigans of Sir Daniel Fortescue. But in this case, for a Sonic Adventure remake, gimme.
Yeah, and it kind of makes sense because the Blue Blur has one hell of a anniversary / birthday next June. I never thought Sonic would make it to his 30th anniversary. Because there have been a few times in the last 29 years where we thought he was down and out. I mean, 360 was one of them. Sonic Boom, that was a thing. And by that being a thing, I refer to the game, not the TV series. The TV series... guilty pleasure. Because I like the fact that, you know, the writing is very self-aware humor. I forget the episode name, but when they happen to be like talking about stuff on the internet, says, "Oh, there's cute pictures of the panda and all those weird pictures of me." I'm like, okay. So, within the next 2 years, 2 remakes, 1 brand new game, and then a year after that, Sonic the Hedgehog the movie 2. Now, either they're going to call it Sonic the Hedgehog 2, or it'll be Sonic the Hedgehog, A Tale of Two Tales. Which, considering Master Prower is going to be making his cinematic debut at long last, which that'll be somewhat apropos, because 2022, it'll be 30 years to the day since Tails first made his debut. I mean, Knuckles has made it to his 26th anniversary. Shadows doesn't get to his... Actually, Shadow gets to his 20th next year. Because he originally showed up on June 23, 2001. But we know another character is making it to their 30th in 2022. Ms. Sally Acorn.
Wow.
Yep, she's been around a while, and I'm not going to go raining on other people's parades, because I know Gorak's particularly fond of the idea of getting Cosmo reinstated into any sort of Sonic community, but a lot of people still seem to scoff at the idea of having Sally being reintroduced into the comics or the games, even though there's a lot of love for the character. And there was one guy I was arguing with on Facebook about a few years ago saying that only Archies have the rights to Sally. If you remember that video that I streamed by Lance Jerkov, yes, I know how that sounds. He went through the US copyrights. Sega owned the rights to her.
Yep.
So if Sega want to bring her in, they can. It's just that they have to get the okay from Sega of Japan, and for whatever reason, they just don't want Sally in. And I don't get it. I really don't get it. Because if we use the Satam incarnation, the only character traits that could be seen as negative is that she's maybe stubborn, she's sometimes difficult to work with, but she sticks to her guns, she looks out for her people, and she has to be the one to be the grown-up, because, well, as much as I love my boy Sonic, there are times in that series where I feel like, okay boy, I'm gonna backhand you if you say something else stupid in a minute, because he literally does act like a teenager with an attitude, whereas if you look at him in Adventures of and Sonic Underground, Adventures of, he's still being a goofball, but he's trying to be like a big brother / parent to Tails, so therefore he has to cool it with certain things, whereas Underground, I feel like there's a mixture of the two. He's still got the attitude, but he's having to be this slightly responsible bigger brother to Manic, because those that watched Underground know that Manic's fingers have a way of getting him into trouble.
Yep. And in Saddam's case, this is why Sally's so perfect. She's the ideal foil.
Yep. That and she's a redhead. Did I say any more?
And all I gotta say is, if Son Sally never happens in the near future, which I hope it does, we do eventually get to see it. Eventually, whether it be a comic or game, at least she'll always have Moto.
Yeah. That she will. The only thing is, particularly pertaining to any potential story with regards to a Sonic Adventure sequel, going with the sort of tone that they've gone with in the first two games, and even a lot of people think of Sonic Unleashed as the unofficial sequel to Sonic Adventure 2. Where would they go from that? Because you stop Chaos and, stopping the, Station Square from being flooded any further. You have Sonic Adventure 2, which was to destroy a planet. Where do you go with SA3? Because a lot of people are asking, isn't it too late for a third Sonic Adventure sequel to be done? I have one answer with 3 syllables that defeats that argument, because Sega have done this before. Outrun 2. Because how many years did they leave it between the first game to the second? It was at least a good 10 to 20 years. And they just said, nope, let's do Outrun 2. And they're like, really? Also, Sega are not the only ones to have done this, and Raiden and Lids will know where I'm going with this. Tron Legacy.
What?
They left, because the original Tron, out in 1982, Tron Legacy came out in 2010.
Mm-hmm.
Also another one that left it, left it really like.
Oh, you mean like left the legacy just in limbo?
Yeah.
I got one. Well, okay, the movie wasn't bad per se, but it wasn't like the other movies. Friday the 13th, 2009.
Is that the one?
Because after that, because there hasn't been, the reason why there hasn't been another Friday the 13th movie, because the creator, the producer are just neck and neck, tug of war with the franchise. So there's that.
Is that the one where the actor for Rorschach from The Watchmen played Freddy?
No, I think it's Jackie Earl Haley.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Nightmare on Elm Street 20. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm thinking of something else. Sorry.
No problem.
To be fair, they're both iconic film franchises in the horror genre.
Mhm.
Yeah. And the remakes were released. Those films were released 1 year after another.
Yeah.
So it's pretty easy to confuse the shenanigans of Jason Voorhees and Freddy Krueger in terms of their franchise titles. It could be worse. You could be comparing Jurassic Park to The Land Before Time.
Ooh, that.
Oh,
No.
Hashtag sorry not sorry.
And to the person who once said that, you know who you are. Don't hide from it.
No.
Because I will ascertain, I have some major doozies in terms of brain farts, but not that much of a doozy.
Yeah.
Well, it's not that far removed from one person I heard about that film.
Oh, you know. Oh, I got one. The Ninja Turtles franchise.
Oh no.
After the 2014 movie and Out of the Shadows.
Mm-hmm.
After that. Well, the series itself is doing good movie-wise. It's kind of sort of in limbo.
Just to follow on from something Win just said, it's like the other one I heard about. I won't name names, but one person thought Man of Steel was about Iron Man 3, and I'm like, what?
Oh God, I know what you're talking about.
I remember that. I remember that story.
Oh my God, how do you do that?
Thank you. Thank you.
As I said, I'm prone to brain farts, but nothing that massive.
Yeah.
And also, iron and steel are two different metals.
Exactly.
Yep.
I tried explaining to this person, I won't say them by name or whether they're male or female because we're not here to do that. But
No.
But I simply explained to them he has the nickname Man of Steel because he is as strong as steel. And they're like, oh, like Iron Man. I'm like, you're not listening. But then again, I'm not going to go saying this piece aloud because there has to be a limit. Said same person also claimed
Oh, this ought to be good.
to that I say, no, you couldn't.
No. I actually knew someone who did that. He had to go to a hospital and be put on heavy duty aspirin after.
Yikes!
God, why?
Dude, I've tried Red Bull. Oh God, I would not. I wouldn't wish that on anyone.
It was one of our late night raid nights, and wow! But I didn't know he drank 6 cans until he said, "Guys, gotta cut this short. I think I need to go to the hospital." And fortunately, he was fine a couple days later, but they gave him some heavy-duty blood-thinning aspirins.
Oh my God!
After. Which is why when I do loves me some caffeine, I don't exceed 2 cans of Red Bull. If I wanted to do caffeine that was more than 2, then maybe 2.5 cups of coffee at most. And that's if it's medium roast. If it's like dark roast where the caffeine feels like it's a little bit intense, then just no more than 2.
The most I do these days, if I have a can of Monster, I might not have another one till either the day after or at least 2 to 3 days after. My primary use for them, number 1, Sunday nights, because I need to stay awake. Or 2, if I've had a lousy night before, whether it be work or just getting edits done, and then I'll be like, remember this one image from Darkwing Duck where Drake is dragging himself across the floor with his eyes like all bloodshot, wherein he's going, coffee, coffee, pulls the coffee down from the work surface, pours in the cup, drinks, suddenly pops up, much better.
Yep. No, those feels.
But, I've only ever done 2 cans of Monster once in a day. Thankfully, I was alright, and they were spread apart by probably, I want to say, between 9 and 10 hours. I've only ever drunk 3 cans of Red Bull in the space of 90 minutes, but I will add, this was in May of 1999, and I was a stupid son of a bitch back then. Worst gut cramp, because I couldn't move for 3 hours, and then afterwards I felt like I could move again because, again, that was my first exposure to energy drinks, and hindsight being what it is, I probably would have liked to have had someone to sit by me by that time saying, do you really want to do that second one? Just saying. Anybody who claims they can do more than one in one day, I'm sorry, but you're playing Russian roulette with your health. Don't do it. They're useful if you're a student staying up late doing your studying, or if you're staying up late with your friends and you only have like the one per evening, day, or one every other day. It's fine because you're giving your body a chance to recover and whatnot. But if you honestly claim you can do more than one in a day, and some have claimed they've drunken 3 to 4 of them in an hour, and I'm like, you're an idiot.
That's a good way to guarantee a need for coronary bypass surgery.
There was a Facebook video going around years ago. I don't know how many this guy had, but his heart was beating so fast in the operating room it looked like it was going to jump out of his chest.
Oh my god.
That and there was actually a story on 1,000 Ways to Die of a secretary who would exceed the 2 to 3 can limit of energy drinks every day. Got mad that someone else got a promotion through unsavory means, and when she was cursing her boss out, had a heart attack and died then and there because of the overdose of caffeine.
Oh, Jesus.
I mean,
because again, I love some of my energy drinks. They come in handy on gaming nights or when I'm just hanging out with friends and just enjoying a conversation that I'd like to continue a little longer, or doing some late night art. Or in my case that MJ can probably relate to, outside forces that kind of interfere with sleep. It comes in handy the next morning because I'd be able to kind of get my pep and be ready to go for be it for work or something I have to do that day. But doing anything beyond 2 cans is just redonk.
Yeah. I don't know if Oni's responding to his Discord messages, but I've just shared to him some of the mock-ups I've done. If he ever decides to do t-shirts for his Twitch page, I've actually got, like I say, mock-up t-shirt and hoodie designs of Oni Rikaku's arcade room.
Yeah, I saw those.
Well,
Yeah, they're neat.
I was trying to find something that would, sort of say his personality, but at the same time done in a way where, it's flattering. So I'm just gonna post something for the audience to see. Basically, folks, what do you make of that? And I got this done via playset. Just waiting for Co92 to say something. You gotta love playset, because I don't know the specifics of how they're able to do this, but the superimposition of how they're able to change the color of the apparel and to be able to put the picture, the logo design, call it what you will, and actually make look like where it's creased and what have you, is decent. Sean says it looks okay. Like I say, I've sent them over to Oni, so...
Well, right now he's a little busy at the moment.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Well, like I say, I've sent the mock-ups over to him, and I've even sent the PNG logo for him to do what he sees fit with. Because I've basically got a free month of the pro features on canva.com, so I figured use it or lose it. So, yeah.
Not gonna lie, that logo is really making me miss my PSP.
Yeah. Well,
Any more subjects to cover tonight?
there is one that go post in.
I've got a link to a little animation which is about a subject which I've talked to you guys before, but I'm not sure the audience knows about.
The Ludo Sport?
Yep.
Original Jurassic Park trio reunites in new Jurassic World 3 set photo as filming resumes once again.
Ooh.
Sam Neill, Laura Dern and Jeff Goldblum have reunited on the set of Jurassic World Dominion. The original Jurassic Park trio is back in action as Jurassic World 3 has officially resumed production. The blockbuster sequel recently had to shut down again for a few weeks over health and safety concerns, but Colin Trevorrow and the cast have been cleared for duty, with the filmmakers sharing a new set photo of Sam Neill, Laura Dern and Jeff Goldblum reunited to commemorate the occasion. Talking to Twitter, Trevorrow shared a black and white photo of Sam Neill, Laura Dern and Jeff Goldblum at Pinewood Studios. Trevorrow simply captioned the photo with "back." Rather appropriately, they are filming at the Richard Attenborough stage. The late actor portrayed John Hammond, the man who cooked up the idea of bringing dinosaurs back to life in the first place in the original Jurassic Park. Neil retweeted the photo along with the following message: "And remembering our old pal on the stage, named for him as we face our ultimate dinosaur horror with Laura Dern, Chris Pratt, Bryce Dallas Howard, Jeff Goldblum, hashtag Jurassic World Dominion. Darling, I lived through the Blitz. Dickie Attenborough." Little story to that. When they had, I think it was Hurricane Carissa, swamp, the Isle of Kauai. Everyone else was like, struggling to get to sleep and what have you in the hotel. Some of them probably had a very restless night, and they're looking at Richard Attenborough the next morning. It's like, how did you manage to not stay awake? He goes, oh, my dear boy, I survived the Blitz. It's like, this is nothing.
Ooh,
Yeah.
nice.
Dominion will reunite the characters of Grant, Settler, and Malcolm for the first time since Spielberg's 1993 blockbuster classic, even. While they have all returned at various points over the years, with Jeff Goldblum briefly appearing in 2018's Fallen Kingdom, the trio has not shared the screen in nearly 3 decades. Chris Pratt, who returns as Owen Grady, likened the sequel to Avengers Endgame before the filming started, saying, everyone is in it, so we could be in for some surprise cameos as well. But Colin Trevorrow has assured that Alan, Ellie, and Ian have sizable roles in the movie. Plot details remain largely under wraps currently. The sequel will be picking up in the aftermath of Fallen Kingdom, which saw Nublar wiped off the map by a deadly volcanic eruption. What dinosaurs are rescued are now running free on the mainland alongside humans. They will have major consequences. We got a taste of that in Battle at Big Rock. However, Colin Trevorrow has also said that the movie won't revolve around dinosaurs attacking cities, even if the post-credit scenes in Fallen Kingdom made it sound like that would be the case. Daniela Pineda, Scott Hayes, Campbell Scott, Justice Smith, Omar Sy. Oh, Omar's back! Nice! DeWanda Wise, Dichin Lackman, B.D. Wong, and Mamoudou Athie round out the cast. To date, the Jurassic Park franchise has grossed more than $5 billion at the global box office. Originally, their plan was to release Dominion next year. However, with movie theaters on uncertain ground since the release of Tenet, Universal recently decided to delay the movie a full year. It will now arrive in theaters on June 10, 2022. We'll be sure to keep you posted as any further details are made available. Well, there's somewhat of a symbolic image, seeing them outside of a stage named after Attenborough, because let's be frank, the only man that could play John Hammond was Richard Attenborough. Although it's interesting, Spielberg originally wanted Attenborough to play Toodles in Hook, but he couldn't get him. So when the opportunity for Jurassic Park came up, it's like, Attenborough's my first go-to. Although I did hear, now this could be just me misinterpreting things, but one rumor I did hear at one stage, they wanted Bob Hoskins for Attenborough for Hammond, and I'm like,
that would have been interesting.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, Hoskins was a great actor, but I don't know if he could be Hammond. I mean, let me put it to you this way, that would be like, that would be like a young Nicole Kidman playing Buffy. Could you see that?
Yeah.
Not really. Well, it's just there's normally only one actor or actress, sometimes two if done right, that can fit the fold of a particular character. Well, I loved the original Christy Swanson from the movie. The only Buffy I can ever see now is Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Yeah.
And it has to be said, whoever goes to portray Buffy in any future movie or any future TV series, they have a tough act. to follow because Sarah Michelle Gellar embodied that character in a similar way. You think of Superman, you think of Christopher Reeve, or you think of Spider-Man, you think of either Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield, or you think of Iron Man, you think of Robert Downey Jr. Sarah Michelle Gellar, while she's had other roles, she's always going to be known as Buffy. So, I don't know.
And while I do love me some David Boreanaz as Sealy Booth, he will always be known as Angel.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I will say, though, the way that they left off in the 5th season where it was kind of a cliffhanger, I felt like... don't know if Liz will go with me on this. I think that could have done with one more season and maybe a feature-length movie just to tie everything off, where at the end of it he gets his reward and he becomes human again.
That would have been nice.
I agree, but this is the CW we're talking about.
I mean,
to have a series end is very, very rare.
I'd actually like, for once, to see any other TV series or movie series to do what the Dark Knight trilogy and Thunderbirds Are Go did, where everything is tied up at the end. You know, everything is finally concluded, because I think when you end a series where it's planned to be end, that's what then has something in demand afterwards, because if something ends at the right time, it doesn't outstay its welcome, whereas there's plenty of TV series and movie franchises that have gone on much longer than they needed to. I mean, you could argue the Scary Movie series outstayed its welcome past number 3. Ugh.
Agreed.
I mean, unpopular vote here. I was probably one of the very few people in the theater during number 3 when everybody was shooting up Simon Cowell, and I was like so sat there thinking, you have no idea how much fun I'm getting from this. And I think probably some members of the cast had a nice smile off it, because Simon Cowell, absolute savage when it comes to these music reality show judges. Like, jeez.
Oh yeah, he is a full-fledged asshole.
And funny thing, he actually began his career as a milkman.
Huh.
Really?
I don't know that.
But he's not doing too badly, because last time I checked, he's worth about £180 million, which American money, he's probably worth at least $222 million.
Oh, gods.
I would
That is definitely great. Oh, hold on. Knock on the door.
Kick.
To be fair, I wouldn't mind just 10% of what he's worth. 2.2 million, I could retire quite happily on that and just, you know, disappear very quietly, very mysteriously. Except just to knock on Oni's door. Hey Oni, I got you a signed photo of Hulk Hogan. I don't want it.
It's like, you will burn that shit.
Weirdest thing, he was actually a Hulkamaniac as a kid.
Huh.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I only just realized I posted the article to the Jurassic World article to him and not to you guys, so yeah, it's a bit of a boo on my part.
I was probably a little confused. Like, what?
Well, no more confused than he usually is, but that's a story for another time.
Point.
Yeah. Particularly with the article, glad the filming's resumed yet again. As to how much they're actually going to get done, I don't know, because it looks as though these things are going to be filmed in broken phases, especially if anything like the Batman is anything to be concerned with, because you have Scott, Robert Pattinson supposedly going down with COVID, but some reports have actually started coming out saying that he might have faked it and that he's incredibly difficult to work with.
Part of me isn't surprised.
Yeah. So, not entirely sure how to work with that, so I don't know. Especially looking at the photo of all three, they've all aged incredibly well.
Oh yeah.
I think the one, in all fairness, who's probably aged the least, Sam Neill. I don't know what that guy's taking, but
I know.
That's not to say Goldblum doesn't look good for his age, because he does. But Sam Neill, it's like he's the one who's changed the very least facially. I mean, alright, he's got the silver distinguished look about him, but if you were to suddenly dye his hair, make him shave the beard, would you notice any difference?
Not really.
Laura Dern, I'm going to be as tactful as I can with this. I don't think time has been as kind to her. And of course in the movies, she was actually Grant's girlfriend, but nobody made a fuss about this when the movie originally came out, but they would probably look differently today. Ellie was actually 20 years younger than Alan.
Huh.
See, I didn't pick up on that at the time. Whereas today, because everybody's so judgmental and what have you, that today they would have a field day over at Egg. Like I say, I'm glad that the filming's resumed. It does make me question what type of movie are we going to get editing wise, because of the fact the movie's been delayed by a full year, as we don't know really what we're going to be getting for next year. And to be fair, with regards to when Warner Bros. Released Tenet, I suppose they were, from their perspective, they were thinking, we gotta release it sooner or later, because, we've poured money into this, we may as well get some of it back. There are some movies where you can have as a sleeper hit, where it's not packed in every week, but you will still get people coming in. I mean, if you look at Star Wars Episode 3, as an example, whilst it was huge when it first came out, obviously audiences dwindled after a while, but that movie came out, I want to say, late April, early May. That movie was still playing at the beginning of July, and most movies, if they're really good, they stay in the theaters for probably about a month, and then they move on, because you gotta make way for other features coming in. But The longer a movie does well at the box office, the longer it stays in. Another example, Titanic. That movie was released late 97, was still in the theaters in early 98. And, has to be said, back then, Kate Winslet, how you doing? And Leo DiCaprio, you lucky son of a... I think there was like a charm to Kate with that movie. I mean, aside from the great chemistry that she had with Leo, because let's face it, if those two wanted to be a couple in real life, you could believe it, because the chemistry was just perfect. But you know, she just seemed like the part as Rose, and well, I don't think I'll get chastised for saying this. I thought she was nice on the eye. Plus, she was sporting red hair. How you doing? Hey, everyone knows I got a thing for redheads. I mean, not to say there's anything wrong with blondes and brunettes, because there isn't, but redheads, more interesting. Gone right off tangent, but nothing new for this podcast. Yeah, by the time this movie comes out, it will be 1 year shy of the 30th anniversary of the original movie. And let's be frank, this is probably one of the very few times they probably could come back, because I'm not saying this to be like pessimistic, I'm just saying this to be somewhat practical. You don't know what the future's going to hold. And the time was ideal for them to come back. And I'm hoping, like I said last week, I'm hoping we have a situation where Alan's confronted by Blue, and then Owen gets her to back off, and he's just like looking on in amazement, it's like, you're controlling a raptor. And there's this theory going around that Owen is the kid that Alan made him practically shit himself in the first movie because of how he said that raptor should be respected. Now Chris Pratt's denied this, but it's like, come on, it's too good to pass up.
Well, if that theory does prove to be true, it's I'll definitely say this, then that kid has significantly shaped up. Is in the most tip-top of shape.
Yep. I'm glad, like I say, I'm glad the movie has resumed production. It's probably not going to be edited for a good while, because I don't think a lot of people have been allowed back into movie studios, because I don't know the situation of COVID in California, particularly, you know, with Studio City, where Universal Studios is based, so we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, some states are kind of in between red or orange red, but mine in Riverside County's back to purple.
Yeah, from what I've been told about what's happening in Bristol, nobody is social distancing.
Doesn't that surprise me?
Yeah. That's fine. When I go to order Krispy Kremes a little bit later, thankfully, they finally pulled the trigger and actually allowed donuts to be delivered via courier. And all I got to say to that is, you know, better late than never. Yeah. Lid's thoughts on the fact that the movie has resumed, and isn't it just like, surreal just to see them all together again like this so many years later?
I mean, yeah, it's definitely weird to see them back together again. I'm not against it. It's just it's been a while since we've seen them together. So, well, for Laura Dern and Sam Neill, has been that long since the abomination that was Jurassic Park 3.
We don't talk about that movie.
But yeah, it's like it'll be interesting to see what happens and what they do with the characters and what kind of movie it's going to be. Because if not necessarily focusing on the whole facts that the dinosaurs are attacking, like basically civilization again, I would like to see it, and also would love to see the theory that Owen is the kid from the original Jurassic Park. I would actually like to see that. That'd be funny.
Yeah. So, Steven?
Great to see that the main trio are back. Although I think in the tweets there is a theory going on that the three of them are working together against a rogue dinosaur attack. Sort of like coming together. Maybe that's when Owen comes in. Then again, I'm just theorizing at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But along with the other bit of news that we could be seeing, that we reported on last week with the reveal of the Lystrosaurus, it's going to be interesting how they add all these elements in the plot together. I look forward to it.
It does make you wonder how they're going to tie the loose ends that got left in that Fallen Kingdom, because the genie's essentially out of the lamp now, and it's going to be difficult to sort of try and contain these animals, especially with the compies. Mine and Lid's somewhat particular favourite nasty little critters. But it also makes you question, what is it going to mean for Rexy? Because by the time they get to the third movie, Rexy is well into her 30s. And in terms of ages for dinosaurs, that's ancient. And I'm not talking, in terms of millions of years. I'm talking like just general animal years, because Rexy's been around a while. Because the theory is, in the first Jurassic Park, she's supposed to have been 5. So she should have been hatched out about 1988. Now, Tyrannosaurs are not supposed to reach full height until about maybe 10 to 16 years. But what I understand with Hammond's genetic meddling, he had Rexy at accelerated growth. So she grew quick. And there's a caption with the dinosaurs back in the day: they're playful when young, but as Robert Muldoon said, they're lethal at 8 months, and I do mean lethal. So I don't know. I don't know what it means for Rexy. I mean, and from what Steve had reported on the set, they're supposed to have been raptor head bearing the designs from the raptors from Jurassic Park 3. Now it does make me question, is this going to tie up some loose ends from Isla Sorna from the third movie? I don't know. Raiden, thoughts?
Yeah, it's pretty cool to see this reunion. Like I mentioned before, I just hope we ain't gonna get, this super dino that we've gotten since
Yeah.
I guess Jurassic Park 3, maybe. Yeah, since that movie. Yeah, I'm just hoping none of that, and we just get a decent plot instead of just like the same old. So that's all I want to see.
Win.
It'll be great to see the old crew back together. I'm kind of excited. Sure, we have to wait a bit, but it'll be worth it. Everything looks great so far. They look great. The rest of the cast does. It seems like it's really, really promising so far, especially since we're gonna get to see Jeff Goldblum for more than just 5 minutes this time.
Yeah.
I'm rather optimistic on this, and I can't wait to see what they surprise us with, to be frank.
So Steve.
So it's got my attention for sure.
Steve, did we get to you?
Yeah, we already did. I don't think Lids.
I know they already got to me.
All right.
Did you see your thoughts, Raiden?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, cool. I think that's everybody then.
Mm-hmm.
Steve, you said you wanted to share something. Is this going to be the sort of thing that might get flagged because, dependent on the source of it, because you know what the YouTube copyright hot bots are like.
Well, for the most part, it's just a small little 3-minute animation.
Okay.
Excuse me. What is the animation of?
It's basically a little introduction to Ludo Sport. Because I figured I've mentioned it brief times before on the podcast, and just wanted to put it out there just so that everybody else knows a little bit about it.
Bring it through.
I think it's royalty-free music on there.
Okay, that's helpful. Code92 is saying there are some people that want this movie to fail so that the film rights will revert back to the Crichton family.
Why?
Don't get me wrong. I understand the altruistic value of seeing the original creators' work go to the family and what have you, but Crichton was always in favor of this succeeding as a movie franchise, and the Jurassic Park franchise is beloved by the entire world.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Continue.
And it helped a whole new generation of people get into paleontology and dinosaurs.
And also filmmaking as well.
Yeah, I think it has to do with a discussion I've been having on and off with the Co92 about these purists and gatekeepers who tend to perceive any kind of action or any kind of change as bad. Which kind of sucks, because all it does is really stunt the growth of media by trying to hog it, so to speak, or keep the purist mentality, because sometimes you do have to switch it up for once in a while. Variety adds the spice to life. Because if you keep a formula the same for too long, it grows stagnant. People
MCU.
burn out.
Exactly.
And at the same time, a lot of these people, I get wanting to keep it the same, but a lot of the more vocal camps that want to keep everything the same tend to have these really gross, holier-than-thou attitudes. The best way I could sum it up is one character it makes me think of is this visual novel game I've been playing with a friend of mine called Monster Prom. There's one person that will pop up if you're pursuing the Eldritch horror girl Zoe, this annoying little stereotypical neckbeard kappa by the name of Leonard. That's what it makes me think of. That goddamn kappa that I want to punt to the moon.
Hmm.
Yeah. Or
But yeah, it's fine to want to make sure the franchise stays good and you don't want anything bad to happen to it, but keeping it locked away and expecting everything to stay the same constantly, it's just not feasible.
no.
You want new people to kind of get into these franchises because you get new demographics along with the old. Then in turn, you get more product to enjoy for everybody. That's just common sense. No one's trying to take anything away from you. They're just trying to expand their audience so they can share the wealth. Most of these people that get into the franchises or mediums like comics, gaming, movies, most of them just want to have fun and enjoy it the way you do, you know?
It's a similar
TLDR, share the wealth, don't be stingy.
It's a similar mentality whenever a subject of any potential Knight Rider movie comes up. You get the middle camp saying, right, what car should it be? Because, as Wynn says, you want to bring in a modern audience that can, look at it for its own thing. And obviously, who should play Michael, who should be the voice of the car, and you get the purist diehard fans that say, nope, it should still be the 82 Trans Am, and they should get the Hoff behind it, he can still go. It's just like, David is in his late 60s now, the 82 Trans Am ceased production in 1992, and Pontiac are no longer a company, and the only way Trans Ams are even made full stop these days is via the Trans Am Depot, which is a sub car studio of General Motors, and it's taking Chevy Camaros and turning them into Trans Ams, and it's not really the same. Here's the thing that I think people need to understand. I mean, as a young adult, I grew up on the original Knight Rider around 2005 when the DVDs of the first 4 seasons were slowly starting to come out. And to be fair to the 82 Trans Am, in terms of the look of it, it still looks futuristic even today. How the car is done with regards to the engine, look, car technology has come a long way since 1982. And the 82 Trans Am, for a lot of people and me, that's still their kit. But 2008 came along and they needed a new car. We had the Mustang, and I say this just as is. I tend to lean towards the kit stang simply because, 1, I love Mustangs, and 2, I like the slightly more modern version. I know there are a lot of people that hate on it. It's just like, well, if that's your thing, that's your thing. But for a modern movie, Universal or whoever is producing the movie will go for a car that's modern, but will, pay tribute to the original car. And obviously, finding somebody that can fill the legendary cowboy boots and the leather jacket of Hasselhoff, because with all due respect to Justin Bruning, all he did was play Michael's son. Yes, he played Michael Knight, but he was Michael Knight II. We're talking about finding an actor that could play Hasselhoff's role, and by extension, finding somebody that can fill the legendary voice of William Daniels, aka Mr. Feeney, to voice the car. That's going to be especially difficult. It'd be like, let's just say this is 20 to 30 years in the future and they reboot Transformers again for the umpteenth time, and they want to find somebody to voice Optimus Prime. You need to find somebody that can not only fill the shoes of Peter Cullen, but be able to make it their own thing. Or in a similar context, when you think of like the voice acting roles of the original Ninja Turtles animated series, for a lot of people from the 80s and 90s, Cam Clark, Barry Golden, Rob Paulson, and Townsend Coleman, that is their generation of the Ninja Turtles, because the voices matched the character. In a similar way, for a lot of people, Jodie Benson is Ariel the Little Mermaid. To a lot of people that grew up on the classic Disney animated movies, or in a similar context, Christopher Daniel Barnes, to a lot of people, is their generation of Spidey. Same way with Tobey Maguire as Spidey, which I hope he does come back one day, even if it's just like a voice animated role, because that'll be a nice way of passing the torch.
Well, are you talking about Tobey Maguire or
Tobey Maguire?
The rumor is that him and Andrew Garfield are coming back for Spider-Man 3 for the MCU one. That's the rumor.
Yeah, I'd wait to hear something official.
That's fair. That is fair.
I was looking in the comments. Code92 sent, as Brian Zane once said, like what you like, don't be a dick. And then Dan Williams, you utter savage. Try telling that to Jim Cornette. Especially don't bring up Jim Cornette, otherwise that will, summon a certain broadcast colleague of mine. I heard the name Jim Cornette. Why have I been done? Oh, hey, Lids. Imagine him just like...
Go back to where you were going.
You mean I can go back to Pizza Hut and do all you can eat?
Sure, why not?
Ew, that's cool. I'm gonna go drink me some Budweiser.
Bud.
Wise.
Damn it, Ellen wants stuffed crust pizza.
Right. Let's watch the Ludo Sport as the last thing, because as Steve said, there's only about
3 minutes.
Yeah.
3.
Make that the last thing for the evening.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like a plan. I'm at 0-0.
Mm-hmm.
At 0.
3, 2, 1, play. Very good.
What is Ludosport? With me, Larry. Ludosport is a competitive lightsaber combat sport created by 3 friends in Milan. In Ludosport, athletes have the chance to learn and master 9 different forms of saber combat. Each of the forms have their own style, moves, and some even have more than one saber. In Ludosport, you will attend weekly classes with your instructor to learn the techniques of one saber style at a time. This is an active sport, so at the beginning of a class, you will do a warm-up to avoid injury. Classes usually end with combat, meaning you can engage in saber combat with other athletes to hone your skills. Ludo sport is a contact sport, so expect to get hit by others during combat. You will be taught how to control a saber to make sure no one is injured in combat. Anyone joining the sport is inserted into a local class managed by a Ludo sport qualified instructor. The instructor has been specifically trained from the Ludo sport masters, so they have the knowledge and skills to train others. Ludosport does have an official uniform, which you can buy from our dedicated online store. Although this is not necessary to join
But it does look cool.
we do provide all athletes with a saber to use in class. Athletes can use their own sabers available for sale at our dedicated website or bring their own bespoke designs, providing it meets our guidelines of safety, not just for you, but for those who are fighting. Although, all sabers must use a Ludosport saber blade, with no exceptions. This equipment is tried and tested to ensure the safety for everyone involved. Ludosport has dedicated members who are experts in all of this and can help you get the right equipment. Throughout the year, Ludosport UK organises tournaments that allow athletes from across the country to come together and
God,
compete
I'd love
until we have a
Ludosport
winner.
to be in. I would love
The
for
biggest event
Ludosport
of the
to come to
year
the
is
States.
The UK Arena, where we
I
crown
think it
the
already
UK
has.
champion. The UK champion and others from around
I
the
think it's
world
just
are invited
focused
to
on
Champions
the
Arena, held in different
East
cities
Coast.
each year. This is where they compete
Well,
for the
butts.
crown of Ludosport champion.
May need to look that
Ludosport
up,
is more
but
than
I'm
just a
sure
contact sport.
I'm sure they've got
It is
classes
a
in
family
America.
and community held together
Well,
by our
if it
three
is,
guiding principles.
I wish it
Service,
would come to
helping each other
California
to
then,
improve,
because I would definitely take a
attention to
crack at it
everyone's
if I
safety
could.
and respect, crave for learning
Especially
together.
since
This is commonly
especially
referred
since
to
it
in
just
sport
sounds
as
like a more
security.
jazzed up version of Kendo,
Abiding by these
which
guidelines
I'm all about.
allows us to create a safe and open sporting community where everyone is welcome. To be part of Ludosport, all you need is enthusiasm and a willingness to learn.
Plus,
Don't
what
forget to
what
subscribe
Star Wars
to the
nerd
Ludosport
wouldn't
UK
want to
YouTube
try their
channel by
hand at
clicking the button
lightsaber
below.
battles?
Make sure you follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Ludosport UK, or
Oh,
you can
absolutely.
email us at uk@ludosport.net. See you soon.
They actually have an academy in San Francisco.
Ow!
Oh shit, that's still a ways away for me.
Hmm.
Pardon, that was very unladylike of me.
All
It's
good.
okay.
Oh, good.
It's fine. We'll hold it against you.
They say some people find it hot.
And they've got
Well, on that note, we thank you for tuning in this evening. We appreciate the feedback with regards to the updated background in the background. And yeah, we hope to see Kaiju back next week. And in the next 2 weeks, I will be working on the next installment for Turtlevember.
Yeah.
Ooh.
But it will be Ninja Turtles 3.
Yeah,
It'll still be
yeah.
It'll at least be an
Not-
entertaining
It ain't
review.
that bad.
That is a good point. Yes.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. One of the weaker movies of the franchise, but it wasn't too terrible.
You're right. Wasn't that bad.
Until next time, I have been the Knight, saying good night from the night. Yeah, and that's it.
Until next time, remember, wash your hands and wear a fucking mask.
Don't be stupid.
Have a safe Halloween, guys. Even though you can't do trick or treating, stay safe.
Buy a
Have
bag.
fun-
Buy a
have fun
bag of
time with it.
candy. Buy a bag of
Yeah.
candy.
Just don't pig out on it too much, you get a tummy ache.
Yeah.
Or get a get dental bills up the ass.
Yeah.
Or
Buy.
indulge in a-
Watch a bunch of horror movies.
Yes, exactly what I was gonna say.
Yeah, watch it, all of that. Yeah,
sure you wear-
scare your kids, parents, so they won't have to eat all the candy.
Make sure you wear
Scaring
your
your kids because reality's even worse.
make sure you wear your masks, or Lydia will make everyone watch Halloween edition of Keeping Up with the Kardashians in HD.
No! Spooky.
Oh no. No. Keeping Up with the Kardashians in below 480p.
Oh no.
And now Navi has shot a glare at the monitor.
Okay, Navi, if we behave, will you be okay with watching Garfield?
He would probably be all over that. He would probably love the Garfield Halloween special.
And on that, folks, we're done. See you next week.
Ciao.
Until next time.
Bye.
Bye.